Welcome to Tracto Memo. Today we revisit 5 legendary tractors that shaped farming history and still refuse to be forgotten. From the humble Ferguson to the mighty John Deere, each one carries stories of sweat and pride. Subscribe now and join us on this timeless journey across the fields of America. David Brown 880. The year was 1965. In the rolling fields of England, David Brown introduced the 880 Select-O-Matic. Built in Huddersfield, this tractor carried the proud legacy of British engineering. At the time, family farms needed a reliable partner, not a luxury. The 880 answered with strength and affordability. Exact production numbers? Not clear. But thousands worked across Europe, Canada, and the United States. The 880 quickly became a quiet icon of post-war farming progress. Its design reflected a new era. The clean red and white paint stood out against green fields. The rounded bonnet, slim profile, and sturdy stance gave it character. Farmers saw it as both modern and approachable. It was a tractor that felt built for real hands, not showrooms. Under the hood, the 880 offered a 2.7-liter, 3-cylinder diesel engine. It produced around 46 horsepower at steady revolutions. A gasoline option also existed, though diesel was favored. The innovative Select-O-Matic hydraulic system allowed precise depth control. For plowing, it meant smoother furrows and less wasted fuel. The transmission offered 12 forward and 4 reverse gears. That range gave farmers flexibility on slopes, fields, and roadways. Its fuel tank held close to 12 gallons. The machine weighed nearly 3,700 pounds, solid yet maneuverable. With a wheelbase of about 84 inches, it balanced stability with agility. What made the 880 shine was versatility. It could plow, seed, haul hay, or tow wagons with equal confidence. Implements attached quickly thanks to the hydraulic lift arms. Farmers praised its easy maintenance and logical design. It was compact enough for barns, yet strong enough for full-day work. A tractor built not just for size, but for smart, adaptable farming. The memories remain vivid for those who lived with it. The low growl of the diesel at dawn. Exhaust smoke curling into cold morning air. The steady rhythm of the engine, almost like a heartbeat of the land. The shine of its paint catching evening light. Rough steering wheels beneath calloused hands. Children climbing onto the fenders, holding tight as the 880 rumbled. It was more than steel and bolts, it was part of daily life. Today, buyers of used 880s find both promise and caution. Spare parts can still be sourced from vintage suppliers. Hydraulic components and filters remain available with some searching. The engines are durable, but after decades, close inspection is needed. Look for leaks, tired seals, and worn transmissions. Rust often hides along fenders and floorboards. But when restored, the 880 proves remarkably resilient. It can still mow fields, pull wagons, or parade proudly at shows. And it often costs far less than a modern compact tractor. The legacy of the David Brown 880 endures. It marked a turning point in post-war mechanization. It showed that family farms could afford reliable hydraulics. It gave smallholders confidence and dignity in their work. Even today, enthusiasts gather at fairs to hear its diesel roar. Collectors polish its paint and retell stories of harvests past. For many, the 880 is not simply a machine. It is a memory of resilience, painted red and white, alive in spirit. Closing this chapter, we leave Huddersfield's proud creation behind. Ahead, our journey drifts across the Atlantic. The next machine waits in the wide fields of America. Case 930. The early 1960s brought change to American farming. Bigger fields, larger harvests, and a demand for more power. Case, already respected for durability, introduced the 930 Comfort King. It arrived in 1960, built in Racine, Wisconsin. Priced to compete with John Deere and International Harvester, it gave farmers a bold choice. Exact sales numbers? Not clear. But its tall profile became a familiar sight across the Midwest. The Case 930 was designed with strength in mind. Its square hood, tall stance, and wide fenders gave it authority. It was not just another tractor, it was a symbol of power. Painted in Case's trademark desert sunset cream and orange, it stood out in every field. Underneath, the 930 carried a 6-cylinder diesel engine. Displacement was around 377 cubic inches, producing close to 85 horsepower. Some models topped 100 horsepower depending on year and configuration. The engine ran steady at about 2,000 RPM. A fuel tank of 35 gallons allowed long hours of plowing and hauling. The tractor weighed over 10,000 pounds, heavy and commanding. Its transmission offered 8 forward and 2 reverse gears, rugged and dependable. Case engineers focused on torque and pulling strength, ideal for heavy plows and big wagons. What made the Comfort King special was its operator platform. For the first time, Case elevated the seat and controls higher above the frame. This gave farmers a clearer view of implements and rows. It reduced fatigue and added comfort for long days. The King name was not about luxury, but about practical dignity. Farmers remember the Case 930 for its voice. The deep roar of the big diesel shaking barns at dawn. The ground trembling as it pulled 6 bottom plows through black soil. The smell of hot iron and diesel mixing with harvest dust. Hands gripping its large steering wheel, steady on long, straight rows. Children perched high on the fender, feeling like they sat atop a mountain. The 930 was not just a tractor, it was a presence. Today, used 930s carry both allure and warning. Parts remain available, though some components are harder to source. Engines are famously strong, but transmission wear is common. Hydraulic systems require careful inspection, as leaks can be costly. Rust often hides under steps and floor pans. Yet when restored, the 930 still works as a dependable field tractor. Collectors prize its tall stance and bold colors. At auctions, values vary widely depending on condition, but many remain affordable compared to modern giants. The legacy of the Case 930 is secure. It marked a leap into high horsepower farming. It gave farmers pride, visibility, and control. It proved that Case could compete with the biggest names in American agriculture. Even now, when one starts up at a tractor pull, crowds turn to listen. The sound is not just mechanical, it is the echo of a decade when farms grew larger and machines grew mightier. As our journey continues, we leave the Comfort King behind. Ahead lies a smaller but equally legendary machine. The Ferguson TE20 waits, ready to remind us that size is not the only measure of greatness. Ferguson TE20. The year was 1946. Europe was rebuilding from war, and farms needed affordable machines. In Coventry, England, the Ferguson TE20 rolled out of the factory. It was light, simple, and practical. Harry Ferguson's vision was to give every farmer an efficient tractor. The TE20 was sold across Europe, Australia, and North America. Exact production numbers? Over 500,000 units. Its popularity earned it the nickname, the Little Gray Fergie. The design was modest but revolutionary. Painted in a soft gray, it looked almost humble. Its strength lay not in size, but in the famous Ferguson system. This 3-point hitch allowed implements to be mounted securely. Depth control was automatic, making plowing easier and safer. This innovation reshaped agriculture Under the hood, the TE20 carried a standard motor company 4-cylinder engine. Gasoline, diesel, and even kerosene versions were offered. Power ranged from 20 to 28 horsepower, modest but effective. Its transmission had 6 forward and 2 reverse gears. Fuel capacity was about 10 gallons. The tractor weighed roughly 2,600 pounds, light and maneuverable. It could pull 2 bottom plows with confidence. For small farms, it was a game changer. Farmers remember the TE20 with deep affection. The soft purr of its engine in the morning. The sight of its gray silhouette against sunrise. The smell of cut grass mixing with exhaust. Hands on a small steering wheel, guiding steady furrows. Children riding on the hitch, laughing as it bumped along. It became part of family memory, not just farm work. The TE20 was also a tractor of history. In New Zealand, it helped clear rugged land. In Africa, it supported development projects. Even on British royal estates, the TE20 served with dignity. Its simplicity allowed anyone to learn quickly. It was a machine that brought modern farming to ordinary people. Today, used TE20s remain beloved classics. Parts are widely available thanks to huge production. Engines are simple to repair, but wearing gearboxes is common. Rust can be an issue, especially in older imports. Yet restoration is straightforward, and many still work in fields. Collectors enjoy their compact design and cultural importance. Prices are modest compared to other vintage tractors. The legacy of the Ferguson TE20 is unmatched. It democratized mechanization, putting power into small farms. It proved that clever engineering could rival brute strength. It changed how the world plowed, planted, and harvested. Even now, when one hums across a showground, heads turn. The little gray Fergie is more than a tractor. It is a symbol of post-war hope, painted in quiet gray. As our journey continues, we leave Coventry's humble hero. Ahead lies an American giant from the late 1930s. The Farmall M waits, ready to carry us deeper into history. Farmall M. The year was 1939. America was on the edge of change. Fields were expanding, families were modernizing, and International Harvester unveiled the Farmall M. Built in Rock Island, Illinois, the M became one of the most successful row crop tractors of its time. It carried the red paint that made Farmall a household name. Exact sales? Over 270,000 units before production ended in 1952. Its reach spread across the United States, Canada, and beyond. For many farms, the M was the machine that defined an era. The design was bold yet practical. High clearance allowed cultivation of corn and row crops. Its narrow front wheels, the tricycle style, made turning sharp and efficient. Wide front versions also existed, offering greater stability. Farmall painted it bright red, a color that soon became synonymous with American farming. It was a tractor meant to be noticed in the field.
The Super M's just...
Under the hood, the Farmall M carried a 4-cylinder gasoline engine. Displacement measured 248 cubic inches, producing about 36 to 40 drawbar horsepower. With a belt horsepower rating near 47, it could power stationary equipment too. A kerosene and distillate version was also offered in early years. Its transmission had 5 forward and 1 reverse gear, simple but effective. Fuel capacity stood around 21 gallons. Weighing nearly 5,200 pounds, it was heavier than its predecessors but still agile. It could pull 3 bottom plows, a big step forward for family farms. What made the M shine was versatility. It cultivated cornfields in summer, baled hay in autumn, and hauled wagons year-round. Implements were plentiful and easy to connect. It was the reliable workhorse that never complained, no matter the season. Farmers remember the M with vivid emotion. The steady thump of the four-cylinder engine echoing across valleys. The smell of hot oil after a day in the sun. The shine of red paint catching dust in the evening glow. Calloused hands on the steel wheel, steady through rough ground. Children riding the drawbar, waving as it rumbled by. The Farmall M was woven into the rhythm of daily life. Today, used M models are still common and valued. Parts are widely available, thanks to massive production. Engines are durable, though worn transmissions and brakes are common issues. Rust hides under fenders and fuel tanks, demanding careful inspection. Yet restored, the M remains a capable tractor even today. Collectors cherish them for their historical importance. Prices vary, but many remain affordable compared to rarer models. The legacy of the Farmall M is enormous. It represented the strength of American family farming during and after the war. It gave farmers confidence to grow more, faster, and better. It inspired future models like the Super M and 400 series. Even now, tractor pulls and parades echo with the sound of the M's engine. The Farmall M is more than a tractor. It is a symbol of mid-century farming pride, painted in unforgettable red. As our journey continues, we leave the Farmall M behind. Ahead stands the final chapter, one painted green and yellow. The John Deere 720 waits, ready to close our story with power and nostalgia. John Deere 720. The year was 1956. John Deere, already a household name, introduced the 720 series. Built in Waterloo, Iowa, the 720 carried the green and yellow colors known worldwide. It replaced the 70 series and became the most powerful two-cylinder tractor Deere ever made. Exact production numbers? Over 45,000 units before 1958. Across America's heartland, the 720 stood tall as a symbol of strength and progress. The design was unmistakable. A long frame with Deere's classic narrow or wide front options. Bright green paint and yellow wheels shining in the sun. It looked ready to work from dawn to dusk. Farmers recognized it instantly, a trusted partner in the field. Under the hood, the 720 carried Deere's legendary two-cylinder pony engine design. Gasoline, diesel, and LP gas versions were available. The diesel produced nearly 65 drawbar horsepower and up to 75 belt horsepower. Displacement measured 376 cubic inches, delivering massive torque at low RPM. A small gasoline starting engine ignited the big diesel, a ritual remembered fondly. The transmission offered 6 forward and 1 reverse gear. Fuel tanks varied by model, but diesel versions carried about 20 gallons. Weighing over 7,500 pounds, the 720 had raw pulling power. It could handle 4 or even 5 bottom plows, making it a giant of its time. What made the 720 legendary was not just numbers. It was the sound, the deep, rhythmic pop-pop of the two-cylinder engine. No other tractor sounded quite like a Deere. That noise became the music of American fields in the 1950s. The vibration in the seat, the exhaust puff with each stroke, the feel of iron strength. The 720 engaged every sense, turning work into memory. Farmers recall the pride of owning one. Driving across wide Iowa fields, green paint against endless blue sky. Children waving from the fence, recognizing the famous colors. Neighbors stopping to listen as the big two-cylinder barked across the valley. The 720 was not just a machine. It was a statement of progress, of pride, of belonging to something bigger. Today, the 720 remains a favorite among collectors. Parts are available, though diesel pony starting systems require patience. Engines are tough, but decades of use mean close inspection is needed. Check crankshafts, bearings, and hydraulics carefully. Rust often creeps along fenders and steps. Yet restored, a 720 is both powerful and beautiful. Prices vary, but many remain within reach of enthusiasts. The legacy of the John Deere 720 is unmatched. It closed the era of big two-cylinders with a thunderous roar. It bridged traditional farming with the horsepower race of the 1960s. It remains a living memory of Deere's rise to dominance. When one starts at a show, the crowd gathers instantly. The sound alone carries history. As our journey ends, we reflect on 5 tractors that shaped farming life. From the modest Ferguson TE20 to the mighty Farmall M. From the British-built David Brown to the American Case Giant. And finally, the proud John Deere 720, painted green and yellow. Each one left more than tracks in the soil, they left stories in the hearts of farmers. If you enjoyed this journey, consider subscribing to the channel. Share your memories of these tractors in the comments. Your voice keeps history alive. Thank you for joining this ride across the fields of America.